Everybody, we're in the Solin family sugar bush, and we're going to do a little series on the trees of our sugar bush. We're very intentional about keeping the diversity of our trees and our forest, so I thought we'd do an introduction for all of you to each of the trees in our forest, and we figured we'd start out with the most common tree in our sugar bush, the sugar maple. Appropriately enough, this is a good example of one of our old sugar maples. This is a sugar maple that my grandpa tapped, and my dad and uncle tapped, and I get the honor to tap along with our kids. This tree's probably a couple hundred years old, probably maybe has another 100 years left to it if all goes well, although there is a fair amount of broken limbs and rot going on, so maybe it won't last that long, but it's still got a while to go. You can tell it's a sugar maple from a few characteristics, a little bit harder in the winter, of course, but the bark is pretty typical, kind of what I think of as kind of a strong looking, kind of tight bark underneath with a little bit of flaking on the outside. And if you look up into the branches, you'll actually be able to pick out some opposite branching, where you can see the branches coming out across from each other. See if I can zoom in here. And that gets you into a group of trees that include maple and ash, but ash has much thicker branches, and then the kind of color of the branches tell you that it's sugar maple. Red maple will have red tips on them. So a couple of characteristics that tell us a sugar maple, and of course we get to see these trees in all seasons, so we get to see it when the leaves are on, so it's a little bit easier too. But that's our first one, the sugar maple.